This is how beautiful but humorous the Lord is. Let's talk about God's image. Does he seem like the kind of God that will joke around, crack funnies with you? Most do not see God in this matter. Most see an all-fearing, magical, huge, mysterious Omega, roaring sea waves and healing the blind. I think he can be simple too. Simple in his character, and I want to pause to pray first before we dive into this. God, forgive the writer of this post whom is not all-knowing or properly educated by no means, but as all you require is faith, love, and will to you. We all worship and love you, Lord. Be with me and all the readers of this post through another gifted day. Why did God tell Abraham to name Isaac Isaac? Abraham laughed first at the revealment of God's coming. Note that this covenant was an unconditional covenant. This was happening if Abraham liked it or not versus a conditional covenant, which is for another study. Genesis 17:17, Abraham fell on his face and laughed and said to himself, shall a child be born to a man whom is 100 years old? Shall Sarah, who is 90 years old, bear a child? Then later, Sarah laughs, and God said, why did Sarah laugh and say, shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old? Is anything too wonderful for the Lord? Genesis 18:13 through 14. Let's say God has a sense of humor. What is the meaning in the name Isaac? Get this, it is laughter. Is God making a joke here? Both laughed at a promise, not only in lack of faith, but laughter. And then he names Isaac after that. God did not name Isaac with a meaningful, glorious name, that the seed of covenant or the miracle of God. Nothing remarkable to his manifest coming of God's revealment of Isaac. Now, God named him after belief, and not in the glory of recovering from disbelief even, just what they did in his promise. They laughed. Now, was God angry in naming Isaac laughter? No, I think God has a sense of humor. Later in the New Testament, it is written in Romans 14:19-20 that Abraham did not doubt what God told him. Abraham laughed in wonder and anticipation. If we reference back to scripture, there may be a difference between Sarah's laughter and Abraham's. He dropped in merciful way, symbolizing humbleness to God to the ground. I like to think God is funny, but digging deeper is okay to do. Later I may rewrite this in just that way, but I have hearted that God is funny. And that is important to me today. Take that journey though. I encourage you to. Why did God name Isaac Isaac? Discuss it in the comments if you like. But this is up to your interpretation too. I honestly think that God was being sarcastic. I wrote this for two things. First, that God can be simple in his character, but second, to reveal God's lack of anger and disbelief too. Doubt or lack of comprehension or complete grasp in God's words. Pray if you have questions. Ask comprehension. Talk with him. This is hard to believe, God. Build a relationship with the Lord. And no joke, he will pursue that belief in you. He will find a way. I had just testified that I want to see God as funny today because I need that. He is pursuing that in his word. It is bold to me in my heart. And that is God lighting a fire of faith in me, in him. Disbelief doesn't discourage or anger God. It is not referenced anywhere in the Bible that doubt is punishable by the Lord. But the first reference of anger in the Bible was Genesis chapter 15, when he was saving the Israelites from slavery, parting the sea. Do you think that every single one of them had understanding faith without comprehension to God's love and grace? The answer is no. In those days, the Bible was not in their hands. They had to travel to even hear a scripture. What do you think doubt was in their hearts with such limited information? God knows this is hard to grasp. Just talk to him.